So welcome, Katherine. Welcome to Thriving Thursdays. So this is an opportunity where I get lots of professionals in the wellness industry to introduce themselves and share their 3 to 5 steps that they take personally to thrive in life. So for those that don't know you, you are the founder of Bluestone Retreats, which is a sustainable non-profit organization with breathwork and yoga that's dedicated to nature. So I know personally how much breathwork has changed your life. And you are an actual breathwork instructor yourself, as well as a yoga instructor. And you're also moms of 3 beautiful children. So would you like to share a little bit of your story for everyone that doesn't know you?
Yes, definitely. Well, thank you, Helen, for inviting me to come and talk to you. And I love to share what's helped me. So that is my motivation for doing the breath work and taking it out in as many avenues as I can. So the way that the breath work has worked on me is it's increased my ability to deal with all sorts of things. If you think about well-being as an umbrella, and then underneath well-being sits your psychological health, physical health, and emotional health, all those different aspects, and also brain function, just literally how the brain actually works. So all those different aspects of psychological, emotional, physical, and brain function, those things have been changed, altered, upgraded, optimized for me by doing this breath work. So before I did the breath work, I was, dealing with all the things that we all deal with all through life, going through different relationships, dealing with children, it's up and down, you've got work, you've got all a load of things coming into you constantly. And it was like, imagine the analogy of you've got a wave is coming and it's just crashing on you and throwing you off your surfboard, and you're just like desperately trying to paddle back on. But before you can paddle back on, there's another wave that's coming and another wave, and all of a sudden you're just like drowning in life. Basically, instead of being on the crest of the wave, you are just, and that's where I was just down.
That's a great description. Okay, I'm sure lots of people can relate to that.
Yeah, right, because it's just, for a lot of us, that is our experience of what life is. And now that I'm on the other side, and it's just something so simple as connecting with my breath and learning breathwork protocols. And you wouldn't think that something so simple that we've got in our own bodies could change so fundamentally. And I'm not talking about just doing some breath work and then you feel calm for a few moments in the class. No, I'm talking about it actually changes your whole perspective. It has changed my whole perspective on life.
So was this the basis of you starting the Bluestone Retreats?
Yes. Yes. So so I'd always been to yoga classes and loved yoga. And with that class sort of feeling that you have, it's very relaxing, and you bounce out of the yoga class and you think, oh, it's nice, but I didn't really know what it was, why it was so good. So during the lockdown 2020, that's when I finally decided to do my yoga teacher training, because I found somebody who could explain to me what yoga was and why it works. And that's a whole different topic, and breathwork is a fundamental part of that. But also breathwork sits on its own because it's been scientifically proven to optimize the nervous system and brain function. So I did my yoga teacher training, and then I did my advanced breath coach training.
Right.
And it was through that process that I transformed, well, it transformed me and continues to do so. It's not a done deal. Every day I do the breath work, and every day I feel better. And part of that process was, so Bluestone Retreats came out of I went through a period of really finding a connection with the natural world, really appreciating everything that's around us, just the grass under my feet, the blue sky, the fact that things are growing, the cycles of the seasons. And I wanted to give something back, I think. So I wanted to teach yoga and breath work, but I wanted to give something back through the organization. So I set up Bluestone Retreats, which is dedicated, like you said, to sustainability and to nature. So once I've paid for the teachers and the running costs and the venue hire, then the profits can go into nature projects, whether that's something small like hedgehog houses or maybe bigger things as the organization grows. And then on top of that, there's just like this absolute desire to share what I've experienced myself, because I haven't invented this stuff myself. This is techniques that have come from ancient yogic texts, so up to 5,000 years old practices, and then practices that have been distilled into a package that can be done in everyday life. So something that can be done in 10 minutes, something that can be done in 5 minutes, something that can be done in 20 minutes. So the idea is that you don't need a whole load of time. You can upgrade your psychology and your emotional health every day by just doing these simple practices. So I want to make sure that people know about that, because they are just so tried and tested and absolutely brilliant. So my teacher, Steve Harrison from the Living Yoga Sanctuary, and from him is a direct lineage from his teacher, and then back. So they're ancient kind of practices that have been distilled and created for modern day living.
Chris and I join you on your retreat, and we cannot wait. So we've both done breath work with you individually, but yeah, to come all together in a group at the retreat, we are really looking forward to it. It's like the perfect weekend away for us. So yeah, really looking forward to it. I want to ask you then, so moving on to your 3 to 5 tips to thrive in life, what would be your first one?
My first one would be to connect with the breath. So that is the first and fundamental thing to do. We've got this amazing tool in our body. So there's something that I want to just show you, which will just switch how you feel really quickly. Okay. So we've got a thing called a physiological sigh, which is an exhale. And we're going to do a double exhale. And it looks like this. Open mouth. So we just sigh out.
That's one quick sigh.
Yeah. So it's one out breath broken into 2 bits. So you're breathing out twice, but without breathing in. So it's one breath. So that's it.
That's it.
And then that's it. And then you breathe in 2 sips of air through the nose like this.
Okay, hang on. And you do one after the other.
Yeah, so we're going to put them together.
Okay, breathe.
So breathing in and then out.
And I did the 2 in, the 2 nasal in. Did I do it too quick?
Yeah, we'll start with the inhale.
Okay.
Well, this is our whole breath round. Now we've put them together. So you've got 2 sips in through the nose and then 2 breaths out through the mouth as an exhale. So let's do it together now. Away we go. That's it. And you can close your eyes if that feels good as well. So all the way in and then let it go. And anyone who's watching can join in as well. It really changes your state. So we could do 3 breaths like that.
Okay.
Inhale. Two more. You've got 3.
More energized or relaxed.
Yeah. Well, what it does, and it does both. So you've identified it, you've hit the nail on the head. That's exactly what it does. So yeah.
Brilliant.
Correct it.
So
That's why this stuff works, it just does.
I want to ask, because no doubt people will be, if they're not used to breathwork techniques or have heard much about it, they might be curious. And I've had people say this to me, and no doubt you have yourself. We breathe like all the time. We're brought into this world breathing. I wouldn't be alive if I wasn't breathing. So why is this different? Why do we need to learn how to breathe?
Such a good question. It's a brilliant question. It's amazing. Such a good question. I mean, we should be taught this, how to breathe like this at primary school. Yeah. So the way that we habitually get into breathing is that we breathe at the top of the lungs. So sort of kind of breathing like this. Yeah. And that is a much more shallow breath than if you breathe down. So what you want to be doing, you want to be expanding really here. So this whole part of the body goes out. And you're breathing into your belly.
So your stomach expands as you inhale, and you really take the breath all the way down.
Yeah. Because we get so used to breathing up here. So that's the first thing, is that by connecting to your belly, you're connecting to your diaphragm, and then your diaphragm is sending a message to your brain, and that's sending hormones which are released, and then they bring that feeling of calm.
And you don't need to do this all day, every day. These are literally breathwork techniques and practices you can put throughout your day. So if somebody was completely new to this, where would they go to start?
They can come on the retreat.
Yes.
Yeah. So, or they could contact me, and I could, teach them these practices. There's a workshop coming up at New Energy Yoga in Winchester. So that's March the 18th. That's a 2-hour workshop. Yeah, that's the same one that you came to, Helen. We're running it again.
That was a sellout and a huge hit. So that's no surprise that you keep doing those.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're excited to see you in person, and then
they can't see you in person. They want to learn something. So to learn something would be to do 10 breaths. So we're gonna you would do 10 breaths like that. So breathing in, so that's 2 6 in through the nose, 2 breaths out through the mouth. Then you would take a deep inhale, hold 1 2, and then breath exhale, and then try and hold the breath out without breathing for as long as you can. 30 seconds, 10 seconds. Then you take an inhale and then just reset. So
they do this, would it be a morning thing, an evening, or when would you recommend it?
Well, I'd recommend doing it in the morning for a couple of reasons. One, you've got an empty stomach, so it's much easier to move the body around and breathe deeply when you're not full up of food. It's easier. And secondly, really the most important one is that if you get up 10 minutes earlier before the rest of the household, then you can get that me time in.
Yes, especially if you're parents.
Yes.
Or yes, get up early to be alone and box on your own self-care before the children wake up.
Yeah. And actually, do you know what? I do it in bed also, when the alarm goes off, and if I can't be bothered to get up, which, let's be fair, is most mornings, especially this time of the year. So the alarm goes off and I take those deep double breaths when I'm lying down. And what that does, it gives me the energy and cleanses my system through so that I feel like getting up.
Oh, wow. Okay. I've not tried that. I might try that then. Yeah, because any tips to kind of help in the morning. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay. And so moving on then, what would be your second tip to thrive in life?
That would be the cold water training for sure. So that but
Okay.
it's so good.
Okay, and why did you get into this?
Right, so cold water training really complements the breath work. So the breath work, you're stretching your nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system, you're telling yourself that it's okay, you know, you don't need to go into that fight or flight. And cold water training does the same thing. So you're going into a situation which you would naturally go, but instead you're going into the cold water and you can just go, it's okay. So the way to start this off is to have a nice warm shower. So go into the shower, get nice and warm, you know, so it's not about sort of putting yourself under a really undue stressful situation. You just want to just nudge the dial on your body system. So you go into the shower, nice and warm, then it's about mindset. So the third thing I was going to talk to you about is mindset, and the mindset training goes through everything really. So you make that decision to do something, and when you make that decision to do something and you do it, it's really interesting because neurologically you're actually building your brain doing that. So there's this part of the brain at the base here that when you decide to do something and you actually do it, when you're asleep, your brain upgrades. So when you decide to do something again next time, it's actually easier.
Yes. And also, I want to add that because I do see this a lot with clients, is that when you make a decision to do something and you don't follow it through, it really affects your own confidence and self-esteem because you let yourself down. So
Yes.
you're right, if you're following through, so you make that decision to go cold.
Yeah. So
And then,
yes. Sorry.
so you carry on. So you make the decision to go under the cold water.
Yeah, so you make the decision to go into the cold water. So you're in the shower, nice and warm, put your hands out, grab your dial or your taps or whatever you're going to do. And you're just going to go, well, I'm going to do it. And you can do some breath work actually in the shower to get ready for it. So you can deep breaths, anything like that, or you can just move around, or you go, yeah, I'm going to do this. Get a hold of that dial. You make that decision in your mind and you go, right. And then you put it back. So
and you were the one that told me to do it as well, because I've tried it on a couple of occasions without breath work and actually really struggled. And as soon as you went through the breath work with me and were telling me to move a bit like the Wim Hof way, kind of push out and you kind of have the movement with it and exhaling out.
Yes.
It's amazing how you can actually last longer under the cold water. And yes, it's cold, but you're okay. Like when before, I was like almost paralyzed by the cold. I was like, this is just cold and it's freezing. I didn't like it. And maybe the breath work takes some of that away mentally. Like you're not focusing on that because you're concentrating on your breath and the movement. But it does make, I mean, I personally think it makes a huge difference. So yeah, that's what I learned from you as well. So okay.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
what does the cold water therapy do? Like if you would say the main benefits for people, why they should try it, what would it be?
Yeah. Well, there's loads of different things. So it's good for weight loss, actually. So it transforms the white fat into brown fat, which is the stuff that we have as babies coming into the world. And we've got all that great energy that we can just transform into, it's an energy store that can be quickly activated. So it changes your white fat into your brown fat cells.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, it's really good for your capillaries. So it's really good for skin because you're bringing that blood up to the surface of your skin.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really good for strengthening your heart, so your cardiovascular system. And also that's why it's important just to do it gently. You know, I said you just want to tweak the dial on your nervous system. You don't want to chuck yourself in a cold river if you've never done this before. You want to build up to it. So you're increasing your cardiovascular system as well. And And you are also, interestingly, so all the little synapses in your brain and how they kind of move around through your brain, they move along through those pathways, and they all got the myelin sheath. Do you remember that word from, GCSE biology? The myelin sheath.
I'm so missed that class.
The pathways in your brain are kind of like a little tunnel.
Yeah.
And they've got this thing going around them, which is called a myelin sheath. And that stuff needs to be all together, nice and smooth, nice and optimal for your brain function to fire very quickly and remember, have focus, concentration, all those things that we need. So the cold actually stimulates the proteins to be created in the body to build that. So you're building your brain by doing it.
I did see a study that was linking actually the benefits of cold water therapy to the prevention of dementia. Perhaps that's where that stems from then. I didn't read the whole study and everything, I must admit, but I remember seeing it and thinking, oh, okay, something to bear in mind, because obviously all of us know that we're going to age if we're lucky enough to age. I still think, I believe it's a privilege to age, and anything that we can do in, any time of our life to make sure that we age well, brilliant. So this is one of those. Okay, so I'm cautious of the time, so I'm going to ask you, have you got a third step that you take in life to thrive?
Well, rebalancing hormones. I was just thinking about, the menopause, the perimenopause. Doing this breath work has enabled me to balance my hormones. So yeah, I'm aging, but I'm not doing that down when I'm so completely exhausted. And my brain function is better now than it was a few years ago. So I was, coming downstairs and thinking, God, what have I come down for? Oh my God, early onset of dementia. But now I don't have that anymore. So I would say that balancing, just really having that understanding that by doing the breath work, doing the cold water training, that is what you're doing in your system as well, is that you're rebalancing your hormones and you're enabling your body to age, but to do it in a way that is, just to age doesn't mean you have to deplete your system, and it doesn't mean that you can't function. It just means that you are becoming older and becoming wiser and becoming stronger and more resilient. Yeah,
because there's you've got your biological age, which doesn't necessarily correlate to your age as we know it. Age is in the time that's gone by and you're born, but actually your biological age can be very different to that. So for example, you might be 40 in life, but actually your biological age is 35, or it could be 45. So how you actually look after yourself can really affect that. So it's all these things together can really contribute to your biological age. Brilliant. Okay. So I want to ask you, before we finish up, are there any spaces left on the retreat?
Yes, there are a few spaces. I've got probably space for maybe 3 more people, I think. So we've got 11 people coming already.
Okay.
But squeeze in a couple of extra people, which would be nice. Yeah, it'd be good if anybody
into this, and going out before the retreat as well. So if anyone does want to join us, do you want to tell them a brief? We've got literally 2 minutes left, a really brief description of what the retreat is, and then we'll finish up.
Okay, yeah. So if somebody would like to come on this retreat, I'd love you to come. Be amazing. So we've got an on-site sauna, and we've got a cold water plunge, and we've got a really beautiful breathwork studio and a posture. We're going to be doing postures, as in yoga postures. So this ties together everything that I've been talking about. So I'm going to be teaching 6 or 7 different breathwork techniques. So some to ramp up your energy, some to balance your hormones, some to increase your body's resilience to stress. And then we're going to be using the hot sauna and then the cold water plunge to fire up those benefits of the cold as well. And it's in Gambledown Farm, which is this amazing, beautiful location. It's like half an hour drive from Winchester. It's down a country lane. All you can hear is birdsong. And the accommodation is like this kind of Scandi luxe sort of hotel style barn. It's beautiful. And we've got grass and it's surrounded by trees. So we're going to have the wood-fired sauna, the campfire, and inspiring company.
And we're just going to hide away.
Amazing.
Just live life and enjoy, and maybe not come back.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when so I'm going to be teaching you a toolkit of techniques, so that you put, this is about, it's about a living yoga, a living breath work. So it's about how to optimize your life. So I'm teaching something that doesn't get lost. And then everyone that comes is actually part of the Blue Stone family as well. So we have a Sangha. This is a new thing, Helen. We're going to have a Sangha supper. So so this is everyone that's been on the retreat comes to my house, and we're going to eat together and just hang out, because it's about building a community as well.
Love this. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Wait.
And then all the other workshops that are coming as well, like the one at the UN.
Chef there as well, isn't there, as well? So all your food is prepared for you.
Yes. It's full board and it's all inclusive. And I found this amazing woman who's a chef, and she's going to be cooking it all freshly for us. And we're going to have she's creating a menu to support the breath work. So we're going to have some really nutritious stuff, and then some detoxifying things as well. Yeah, she's Indian inspired cookery, and it just looks absolutely gorgeous.
Might be able to get some recipes to take home as well.
Well, yes, we could. Yeah, no, that's a good idea. Yes, definitely.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for your time, Katherine. Thank you on behalf of everyone that will be watching and listening as well. Thank you for your time, and I will see you on the retreat. Yeah, and the next one is the 27th to the 29th of October. That's the next date, already booked in. I'm sure there'll be a waiting list for that one as well. So yes, people can sign up, can't they, if they want to get on that list? Yeah, they can join the wait list, or they could join the one for 10th to the 12th of March. Brilliant. Thank you so much. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste. Thanks, Helen. Thanks for having me. See you soon. Bye.